Are you ready? The time is now 6 o'clock, and we will call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Friedel, will you please lead us? Mr. Friedel, will you please lead us? You can do it from there, but you can come up front.
I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Our first action will be the swearing in of new governing board members, Madison Reed, Libby Settle, and Lillian Acker. Mayor Dickey.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity. It's an honor to swear in folks to the position that I was privileged to have many, many years ago with you, Dana. We're gonna do it in alphabetical order. Please respond with "I do" or "I so affirm" after I read the oath. So read the whole oath together. We're gonna start with Lillian Acker. And for the state of Arizona, County of Maricopa, do you, Lillian Acker, solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Arizona, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of school board member for the Fountain Hills Unified School District according to the best of your ability? So help you God, or so you do affirm?
I do.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just stay up to the parts and thank you. All right, Madison Reed. For the state of Arizona, County of Maricopa, do you, Madison Reed, solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the laws of the state of Arizona, and that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that we faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of school board member for the Fountain Hills Unified School District according to the best of your ability? So help you God, or so you do affirm? Thank you. Congratulations. All right. And for the state of Arizona, County of Maricopa, do you, Libby Settle, solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Arizona, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of school board member for the Fountain Hills Unified School District according to the best of your ability? So help you God, or so you do affirm?
So help me God.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Lillian,
pictures.
yeah, why don't you three let George go ahead and take a, do you want a photo of the three of them? Thank you, Mayor Dickey. Ladies, welcome to the next 4 years of your life. Next up is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the agenda.
I second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up is approval of the minutes for December 14th, 2022 business meeting. Do I have a motion?
I motion to approve the minutes for the December 14th, 2022 business meeting.
I'll second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? Hearing none, motion carries. Next up is the election officers of 2023. First up will be the president. Do I have nominations for president of the board for the 2023 school year?
I nominate Libby Settle.
Nominate Jill.
I second Jill.
I have a motion for Libby, and I have a motion for myself. We'll vote on Libby first. All in favor of Libby being president, please vote yes, yay, or nay,
Yay.
Yay.
Nay.
Nay.
and nay. I have 3 nays and 2 yays. All those in favor of Jill Reed being president for 2023, please vote yay or nay.
Yay.
Yay.
Nay.
Okay, I have 3 yays and 2 nays. So I will be president for the 2023 school board, or 2023 school year. Next up is vice president. I nominate Dana Sarr.
I nominate Madison Reed.
Okay, we will vote on Dana first. All those in favor of Dana being vice president, please vote yay or nay.
Yay.
Nay.
Nay.
I have 3 yays and 2 nays. That negates the nomination for Madison Reed. Dana will be vice president for 2023. Next up is informational reports, summary of current events. Superintendent Jay?
Well, welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. Madam President, members of the board, and guests, we have been very busy since we've been back from break. One of the things I want to share is, as a leadership team, we're continuing to build upon our theme and our common goals. And one of those ways we're doing that is through we're doing a book study on Good to Great, which I felt for me as a principal years ago really made a difference for me in my leadership, and allowed us to, as an organization, look at ways that we can continuously improve. And as I always share with our staff, be 1% better every day. And we are through chapter 5 and continuing to work through it. But it spurred some really good conversation, and I'm very excited to be a part of that. Once we finish, we'll move on to our next book. We've been very busy with consolidation since the last meeting, working collectively as a group. We meet very frequently using an app that we use where we're able to make to-do lists, all the information we need on consolidation, and work independently, but at the same time together, which has been it's helped expedite a lot of things. I'm happy to share that we've had some partners step up with consolidation to help immensely. And so one of those, I'm going to talk about 3 of those tonight. Our Rotary Club here in town has volunteered to come in and help paint the new middle school, which it needs a fresh coat of paint in every classroom, and they have volunteered to come in and do that. Our Kiwanis group has also stepped up and is currently writing a grant for to address our playgrounds at our preschool, which is very, very helpful, so we're very appreciative of that. And our PTO has also stepped up and has offered to help financially with some of our kind of our wow factors that we're going for at the new elementary school. And we have other organizations planned to meet with, and we're hoping to reduce as many costs as we can by partnering with our community. So I'm very excited about that. We have Orcutt Winslow coming in next week to launch the project and to really get it off the ground and share with them more information about our vision. And then from there, they will take their wealth of experience designing schools and come up with the themes for our team rooms, ideas for our library. And I can assure our parents coming into the K-5 next year that it's going to be really, really awesome. We have some great ideas, and once we have some renderings, we'll get those out. Our new middle school is going to have some new ideas that will be presented there. We'll be doing tours of the new middle school, hopefully by spring break or April, and so parents can come see what that's going to look like. So we're very excited about that. I spent Monday at McDowell Mountain. I've been doing each semester, spending a day at each of our building sites taking feedback. And so on Monday, I spent the day at McDowell Mountain. And it's always fun to spend time at McDowell Mountain because the kids, one of the things they always say to me is, "Who are you?" number one. And then even though I visit a lot, because they know Mr. Wilkinson's our principal, so I have to always explain that to them. But now they really like when I come with Frank, though. they get excited to see Frank. So I spent Monday there, took a lot of feedback, and I can say that I was very pleased with what I'm hearing from our staff there. And lastly, I want to give a shout out, near and dear to my heart, our boys basketball program. As a former coach of the Falcons, they are currently undefeated, and that is not easy to do. And they are just kind of dominating through, and it is exciting to watch. So I want to congratulate Coach Bonner and the boys for all their hard work this season. So with that, I conclude my comments.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions regarding Superintendent Jay's comments?
They play tomorrow night here.
The boys play tomorrow night here? Awesome. Okay, next up, we'll do governing board member reports. Many of you sat through board meetings, so you know how this works, so we'll start with Madison.
I was able to stop by the Presby's Pick and Flea Market on Saturday and another community event that I think is great. And then I was able to take my kids by the farmer's market today, as well as we were able to go to the Celebration of Life for Alan Cruikshank. And stepping into that room, you could feel the love for that man immediately. It was really neat. And all of those things just cultivate the love that I have for Fountain Hills, being a small community full of support, and just it just confirmed all of that for me.
Thank you.
Not a whole lot to report outside of, catching up and learning a lot of the responsibilities and rules that we need to follow, and looking forward to a great 4 years serving our district.
Lillian? The main thing is in December, I had attended the ASBA conference. I went all 3 days and went in to represent us, even though I was not a voting member, so I couldn't vote on anything. I also attended the Latino Native American Caucus, so I plan on joining that. I got certificates for Dr. Barnard and Mrs. Rutkowski, which I passed over because of all the years that they were on the board. So they gave that, and I attended the Coffee with Kane last week.
And Mrs. Rakowski would be very proud of you for being at ASBA. She loved it there. So, Damon?
Yeah, taking her place is going to be fun. Just the last few weeks, I teach computer programming and related things. And one of the newest features is going to have an effect on the district and every educational institution, which is artificial intelligence. And just a heads up for you English teachers and principals, we're working with a program that allows you to type in what you'd like the theme of your term paper to be, and it produces it for you. Maybe a A- or a B+. And so in our program, instead of the old sitting in front of a computer or a punch machine or whatever it was in your day, putting a program together, you just simply have to tell it what you want, push a button, and it creates the code for you. So it's a huge change for our industry and how we teach in our field, but it's going to have a tremendous effect on education going forward. It's not going to go away, neither is the calculator. And so I encourage the superintendent and our staff to get ready for that.
And the kids are already aware of it.
Oh, my kids were aware of it before I taught them.
I attended the Coffee with Kane last week. If you haven't attended that, it's a great event where Dr. J catches up the parents on quite a few different things going on in the district. And if you're not available in person, he is always on Zoom for that meeting as well. So I encourage you to attend. Okay. Next, we will do district celebrations, starting with the Falcon of the Month. Dr. J.
Madam President, members of the board and guests, excited. This is a new tradition this year for anyone new here. We talk about it's important for us to celebrate our academic excellence, and so this is a way that we are able to do that. So each school, each month, gets a Falcon of the Month for a staff member and a student. And with that, we are going to start with McDowell Mountain Elementary School. So Mr. Wilkinson.
Thank you, Dr. J. Thank you, Krista. So I will be presenting the Staff Falcon of the Month, and I actually, for the teachers here tonight to present to the students. So I will have Mrs. Denise Matus come on up after I'm finished. But I would like to recognize Jill Cooper. When I first arrived at MMES exactly 1 year ago, I did a lot of listening and observing. The one name that constantly came up as someone to talk to was Jill Cooper. Countless individuals, including teachers, parents, and district administrators, talked about the wonderful Mrs. Cooper. It did not take long for me to see why her name was mentioned so often, as I was in her room routinely asking her questions multiple times a week. Challenging times. Jill always met me with a smile, stopped what she was doing, and helped answer any questions I had. Her love for teaching in Fountain Hills is palpable and is evident by the number of clubs and committees she is a part of. Meet and Confer, Site Council, robotics, the list goes on, that's just to name a few. Her selflessness and dedication to MES does not go unnoticed and even pours over into her household. Beginning of this year, we had a bunch of computer cards that had to be wired, and her husband Eric spent hours at MES on his day off helping wire computer cards. But the highlight for me thus far working with Mrs. Cooper was her Shark Tank activity in her STEM class. This activity saw her students inventing products and pitching it to two sharks, Mrs. Cooper and myself. For authenticity, Mrs. Cooper purchased fake money online, which looked incredibly real. I thought about taking it to the bank, but I didn't. Each student got to come up and present, and then we both offered the fake money to the student, and the smiles on the kids' faces made a challenging few days a great day for this principal. I know MMES has faced many challenges the past few years, but it's people like Jill Cooper who have stayed the course and continue to work tirelessly to bring back the success that was so common to MMES in our district. Thank you, Jill, for all that you've done and will continue to do for MMES and FHUSD. So for our Falcon Student of the Month, I'd like to bring up Mrs. Denise Matus to present to our Falcon.
Thank you. This is really a surprise. I didn't know I was going to do this till the last minute. This is great. Well, I was honored enough to be asked to pick one of my students, which was very hard because they're all so wonderful. But I wanted to recognize Sivan Mazzoni. Sivan is a great Falcon. We do the pledge every day, and he is responsible. He takes part in our morning circle time, and in doing so, he has learned all of his letters, all of his sounds, and so much more. He is very respectful. Sivan uses his manners, please and thank you, all the time, with teachers, with his friends. He is respectful when using classroom materials. He is kind, another one of our traits. Sivan is kind to all his friends and his teachers. He greets them on the playground. You never see him in a ruckus. He always has a smile on his face and is easygoing and will just take everything calmly and keep going. He shares and includes all who want to play with him. He never turns anyone away. The more friends, the better. He has a great sense of humor as well. We can tease all the time. He is safe. He follows all of our classroom rules and our playground rules. I am very, very pleased with Sivan's growth in pre-K this year. He is a great student, and I enjoy working with him, and I will be sad to see him leave my classroom, but he is more than ready for kindergarten.
Woo. Thank you, Kevin. Next up, Dr. Wheeldryer to present for Fountain Hills Middle School.
Good evening and welcome to all the new board members. It's nice to see everybody smiling, all excited. So you know who I'm going to nominate for our staff? It's James Morales. So that wasn't very hard.
He's got it.
I'm surprised you're wearing a veil around that looks purple. Anyway, so he returned to us this year, helping out our middle school and our high school, bringing back the band program, which is what we needed. He has a natural ability to connect with students, and he inspires each student to not only pursue their talent along with musical lines, but elevate it. He organized a winter band concert in which students were well prepared for, and the audience delighted to hear several holiday tunes. We appreciate Mr. Morales' manner of sharing his musical expertise, coming to school well prepared for each day, and his ability to adjust at the last minute when he needs to. He uses classroom time to the fullest. His students have clear expectations, they are well respected, and they respect him. Thank you, Mr. Morales. You lead the Falcon Way. So come on up.
Thank you.
Okay, for our student, this wasn't hard. This goes to Abigail Hermie. She's hiding. She'll come up here shortly. So Abby is a problem solver and a quick thinker. She confidently takes on any challenge presented to her. During a math pizza project, Abby accurately and enthusiastically responded to every question given to her as she accomplished her project. She is a trustworthy, reliable, good-humored student and friend who supports others in and out of the classroom. She is a great asset to our school community. She is also very intelligent, hardworking, a team player, respectful, and a wonderful child in general. She is a teacher's dream to have in class. So congratulations, Abigail. Come on down.
All right, moving on to our high school, Mr. Hartman.
Thank you. Hello, welcome, new members. Okay, Wilkinson must lose this, sorry. Okay, I'm going to leave the suspense to the end. I decided I'm going to read about the individual and then say them at the end. So this teacher continues to epitomize the Falcon Way with everything she does, whether she's teaching math, showing students the value of giving, or just lending an ear when students need one. She's always reliable and available. She's also excellent at giving support to colleagues when asked. I believe there's no one more valuable, well, everyone's valuable, no one is more valuable to the Fountain Hills community and our campus than Christine Barsama. Okay. This student demonstrates exemplary academic achievement daily. She does thorough and thoughtful work and never seems to take an assignment off. While she does great work in the classroom, I'd like to highlight that she joined girls soccer in the middle of the season so that they would have enough players and be able to play the season. After joining, she played her first game only a few days later. I believe that this level of selflessness while maintaining academic excellence truly demonstrates the Falcon way. Lucia Kalmbach.
All right, our last one I'm going to take here is, our last one is district office or transportation, somewhere outside a building. And, you know, we've had a variety of different winners. And this month, it was really important to me personally that we recognize Krista for all of her hard work. So I don't have anything written because I can speak clearly on Krista. I couldn't do my job every day without her. She has come in and just in the short period of time she's been here, her institutional knowledge is just amazing of what she knows. I rely on her all day, every day. I text her frequently, questions, reminders, don't let me forget this. And she keeps me on track. She keeps my schedule running. She will even tell me no all the time about touching my calendar. She has just been amazing. And so I know she didn't want to be nominated because that's how she is. She just serves others. She has great customer service, a smile on her face, and I'm very, very blessed to have her as my assistant. So thank you, Krista, for all you do.
And we'll just piggyback on that because Krista also keeps the board straight, that she updates us on our policy, she makes the board agendas, she keeps our calendar straight, provides training seminars, scheduling for us, so thank you from the board as well.
Thank you very much.
Could I say one more thing?
You can.
I'm very blessed to say that all three teachers recognized tonight my kids have had, and they have all made a huge difference in my children's lives. So personally, thank you all for all you do.
Okay, next up, we're going to hear from Stugo. Is there anyone from Stugo? Come on up.
Hello. My name's Diana Boss. I'm the senior class president. I'm going to be talking about a little bit about homecoming, some other stuff we have coming up. So homecoming is going to be January 30th through February 4th, and each day we're going to have a spirit day, something a little show school pride. So the 30th is going to be anything but a backpack day. The 31st is 2000th Day. The 1st of February is going to be Country versus Country Club, and then that day we also have our bonfire at 6:30. The February 2nd is going to be class colors, and we also have our assembly, and then the varsity game is going to be at 7. Friday is Celebrity Day, and then that Saturday is going to be the homecoming dance from 8 to 11, and the theme is red carpet. And then we also have Buff Puff that next week, so the February 8th is going to be the first round. It's going to be from 5 to 7 p.m. And then the next day is going to be the second round, which is going to be during lunch. And we also have in the works a kickball fundraiser. So we don't have a date yet, but all the proceeds for that are going to go to hurricane victims, and it's going to be a staff versus student kind of game. Do you have any questions for me?
Very good.
Hearing none, thank you so much for coming and updating us. Next, the board will hear a presentation from Kiwanis.
All right, well, thank you, everyone. My name is Mike Charno, and first off, I want to start by congratulating the new board members, and it's going to be an awesome 4 years. It's going to be all peaches and cream from here, I'm sure. I can tell you that from personal experience and from your fellow board members, but I do appreciate the opportunity. Dr. J reached out to me, and we're one of your community partners, and so I'm honored to give this presentation tonight. And our focus is on the kids, so hence the title. But we are part of Kiwanis International, and the first club was started back in 1915, Detroit, Michigan, and our overall motto is serving the children of the world. So over 200,000 adult members, over 300,000 youth members, and I will concentrate tonight on the things that we do for the district, for the students within the district, and other children in the community. We do some other things as well, but there's actually 2 Kiwanis clubs in town. A lot of people don't realize that. There's the Noon Kiwanis and then the Sunset Kiwanis. And the Noon Club was 1975 chartered and the Sunset in 1976. One of the questions is, well, why are there 2 Kiwanis clubs? Well, we meet at different times, hence Noon meets at lunch, Sunset, at dinner time. And both clubs have similar goals and missions, but yet, each club around the world is unique. So we do some things together. This is members from both clubs a few years ago, and doing some joint projects. And this was a day at the Kids Zoo that the Phoenix Club put together, and so some of us went down there and helped. And so we get along, and we try to cooperate when we can on joint projects. So some of the school programs that we do, Terrific Kids and Bring Up Grades. And Terrific Kids is over at McDowell, and the smaller, lower grades over at the middle school. And Terrific is an acronym: thoughtful, enthusiastic, respectful, responsible, inclusive, friendly, inquisitive, and capable. So it's not based on education per se, or grades, anything like that. It's just character traits, and I know that's a big deal with the district. So there's some kids getting their bumper stickers and certificates of achievements, and this is Dr. W over at the middle school. And this program is done by the Noon Club, so each year at the end of the school year, we typically work with the principals and award some bicycles and helmets to some deserving, terrific kids, and so that's kind of one of the highlights toward the end of the year, and so kind of a cute picture from a few years ago. The Sunset Kiwanis, they do a dictionary project, so they get in front of 3rd graders, and they have kind of mini children's version of the dictionary, and the kids are like, well, what's a dictionary, first of all, right? And then it's like, well, we have Google, what do we need these things for? But they, they do little exercises with the dictionaries, have them try to find certain words and kind of tell them how to use them. So the kids love books, and they get to take them home with them, so that's always a fun thing. And the other thing the Sunset Club does is it's a Kiwanis effort worldwide. It's called Young Children Priority 1, but as Mrs. Matus was up here, preschool and that is a very important age, obviously, so they work with the kids on reading stories to them, and then they are allowed to take home the books that are read. So that's Connie there reading her story to some preschoolers, and some other activities. The other program, Bring Up Grades, is designed to provide recognition for students who bring their grades up from one period to another. And again, students empowered to participate in their own academic success. And this is kind of a picture from recent kind of graduation or recognition of the kids who met the requirements for the program. A lot of members from both clubs participate in the mentoring program as well. That's organized by the Golden Eagle Education Foundation. So heard a lot of good Kiwanis stories about mentoring over the years. Moving on, the Noon Club sponsors 2 different clubs at the middle school level. There's K-Kids, and then there's Builders. K-Kids, again, Kiwanis says it's the largest service organization for elementary school students, more than 1,200 clubs worldwide. So again, the emphasis is on service, leading. They elect their own officers, kind of run their own meetings, and it's about getting along, bettering the school and the community. It's kind of the same principle with the Builders Club, and these are the older kids over at the middle school. Again, they elect officers, choose their own service projects, what they want to do. And again, you know, the whole idea is to have them become adults and think about others in the community and provide just a lifetime of community service. So I have some pictures from some things over the years. And a lot of the K-Kids and Builders help the Noon Club at our food booth during the art fair, so they always get a kick of coming down, and they help us with refreshments and running orders and that kind of thing. And a lot of the adults appreciate seeing the kids out there helping and providing community service. And so, you know, picking up litter, doing blankets, and I think these blankets went to the Children's Hospital over the holidays a couple years ago. So again, it's just community service. This was a ribbon cutting at the raised garden beds over at the middle school. That was a fun project that the Noon Club was a part of. And each year, the Noon Club has breakfast with Santa, and you can see in the front, a lot of the builders and K-Kids love helping out at that as well, dressing up as elves and helping serve refreshments and singing. And the picture on the left is from a Tour de Scottsdale. We had a refreshment station where bicyclists could stop and get some snacks and some drinks, so they help with that. And this was, I think, a Valentine's project. Probably these went over to Fountain View Village or something like that. And the club has also taken things down to Ronald McDonald House for the children down there. And this is a picture of all the kids getting their certificates. And moving on to the high school level, high school has Key Club, and that is organized and sponsored by the Sunset Kiwanis Club here in town. And again, Kiwanis kind of prides itself on offering all these different clubs through the different levels of education. So Key Club members have a passion for helping others, and again, it's about gaining leadership skills, hoping to carry that with them for a lifetime. This is a couple years ago, some Key Club members with Sunset folks over at the Boys and Girls Club. And they too help the Sunset Club with their fry bread booth at the art fairs as well. And you know, they get to help out. And I don't know if they get their hands dirty in the dough or not, but they do have a good time. And again, the patrons at the art fair always love seeing the teenagers helping out. And this was at a function over at the Boys and Girls Club where they helped both clubs on a day of play over at the club. And then this was taken at a American Cancer Society Relay for Life event down at Fountain Park that Key Club had some activities there. And they do fundraising as well. Car washes over the years have always been popular. And this was a shot of some of the high schoolers getting their membership certificates as well. And both clubs do fundraisers and, you know, take pride in helping different organizations here in town. The Youth Theater is a major benefactor. This is from the Noon Club. This is the Sunset folks donating to the Youth Theater. This past year, the 4-H Club got a donation from Sunset. And for years, the Noon Club gave money to the music program. They used to do their rehearsal the afternoon before the big concerts over at the community center. Noon Club has helped the golf team. Junior Achievement has gotten contributions from us as well. That you know, obviously a lot of kids are impacted by that. We gave the Noon Club, along with the Vern C. Johnson Family Foundation, provided it was $40,000 because the foundation matched the $20,000 for improvements over at the Boys and Girls Club. And both clubs also provide scholarships through the Golden Eagle Education Foundation. And you notice Marcia Holney's in a lot of these pictures. You know, she's the head of the foundation, and she's here tonight, but she's her and her husband Bernie are key members of the Builders and K-Kids efforts, and I know there's several Sunset folks that help with the Key Club as well. Donation recently went to Raining Grace Ranch, and I know Tom Aiello on the right, he's with the Crisis Response Team as well as the Sunset Club. And several of our kids, through recommendations from local counselors, have gone to the ranch, and they have horse therapy up there, and we've heard a lot of good stories out of the ranch. We worked with, the Noon Club worked with the middle school a year or two ago on the raised garden beds, getting those constructed. And as you know, the Drug Coalition, we had Red Ribbon Week at the end of October, and I understand the red tulips are now coming up in the raised garden beds, so everything kind of comes around. Both clubs participate in the Christmas Angel program, which again, Peter Conti obviously coordinates that, but a lot of local kids from Fountain Hills and Fort McDowell benefit from that Christmas program. And the Noon Club has raised money over the years and helped with some playground improvements. This is a kind of a mini zip line over at Four Peaks Park, and it was the first one in the state, so it was kind of cool to work with the town on that. And we've also, the Noon Club has also done other improvements at Golden Eagle Park and Falcon Leader. So tonight, you know, you saw a lot of presentations obviously with the Falcon Award, so one of the ways you can obviously help students is honor them and signify their contributions. So the Noon Club has Falcon Leaders Awards every month for 2 students from the middle school during the school year. And then the Pacesetters Awards go to 2 high school students each month. So that, you know, that's a good summary of all the things we do for the district, for the kids here. We do appreciate it. And I was going to mention, I sent a note to the Rotary guys, so I'm going to try to recruit some Kiwanis to help with the painting too. So we don't want Rotary to take all the publicity for that. And both clubs are always seeking new members, and you know, from this picture you can see we might need to examine our standards a little bit for new members, but that's kind of down the road. And then finally, we just want everyone to not worry, be happy, serve others, and help the children of the world. So if you guys have any questions, I'll entertain them.
Are there any questions for Mr. Sharno regarding the Kiwanis?
Hamburgers at the fair?
Hamburgers and hot dogs at the fair and fried bread for Sunset.
I think we need to get you some new pictures. A lot of those kids already graduated college. It's time to update.
Yeah, you had to bring that up, didn't you?
I have just a quick comment. I love the pictures because I'm someone that believes you can't take too many pictures of good moments. And then I also loved that you talked about having kids participate in their academic success, because I absolutely believe that's a way to build confidence and the right kind of confidence. And then about the mentorship program, I've heard both from parents and the mentors themselves how meaningful that program is and how much it helps the kids. So thank you.
Yeah, and I really credit the Golden Eagle Education Foundation for starting that years ago and keeping it going. And you're right, just having a kind of a third-party adult, you know, the kids can open up to them a little bit more, and you know, they're not a teacher, they're not a parent, so it works, you know, works for everybody. So thanks again.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. Next up is the Fountain Hills Coalition presentation, Catch My Breath. Oh, did you want to catch your breath, Mike?
Yeah, I had to catch my breath and grab my water bottle here, but yeah, so, you know, obviously talking about the kids and everything, it's no secret that there have been some incidents, you know, this semester and through the years of kids vaping. So the coalition over the past few years has offered 2 different curriculums, Catch My Breath and then the Stanford University Tobacco Prevention Toolkit. And we've reached 6th through 9th graders over the years with these programs. And we previously had a Parents Commission grant that we were awarded And through that, we offered these programs. And we have seen a significant, well, back in 2018, 2019, there was a significant jump, not only here in Fountain Hills, but across the nation about vaping. When you remember the Juul was a big deal, and the flavored vapes and all that kind of thing. So right now, we're working under a new federal grant, and we would like to bring the Catch My Breath program back at this time. And we want to do it for 5th and 6th graders, and we're hoping to do it before the end of the school year. And our goal is to offer some additional lessons to other grades starting in the fall. But we had previously approved board approval on this project several years ago, but since there were 3 new members, a different superintendent, and there have been some slight adjustments in the curriculum, only because they're trying to keep up with all the different adjustments in the vaping world and the mechanisms that are out there and the different marketing and all that kind of stuff. So Catch My Breath is an evidence-based youth nicotine vaping prevention program. And the idea is to provide students with the skills to resist peer pressure and media influences to try e-cigarettes. This particular program has been vetted and endorsed by the Maricopa County Health Department, and they're working with other school districts around the county to implement this type of programming as well. So there's 4 unique lessons for each grade group, about 35 minutes each. The packet that you guys had also includes the pre and post survey questions that the students would answer anonymously. They don't have to answer every question, and these questions kind of are necessary to gauge the progress of the coalition, how effective the program is, what the students are learning, and the grant requirements basically say, yeah, you guys need to do this survey, 2 surveys, one before the program starts and then one after. And then packet also includes a sample letter, which we would tailor for our coalition and for the district, that would be sent to parents and guardians, informing them, you know, that we're going to be offering this program, and it would include a student survey opt-out form this way, and then the parents, the link would also have a link to a 17-minute video outlining the program, why something like this is necessary. So we've been told, you know, information like that gets pushed out to the parents and guardians meets the Parents' Bill of Rights, which was passed by the state legislature last year. So just kind of looking for your endorsement, approval again, permission to offer this program. We need to work out a few logistics yet as far as when exactly it's going to start, and who's going to present it, and what hour of the day, that kind of thing. But again, the intention is to reach 5th and 6th graders yet this before school ends this semester. So that's it for my comments. If anyone has questions.
This is just an information item, so if you have questions, this is a great time to ask those. So.
I have a few questions.
Yeah.
So you did say that there was a federal grant for this. Is there any cost to the district for this program?
No.
Okay. And then the statement that this is evidence-based has that little 1 by it. I didn't see where I could find the footnote for that. Is that just citing the studies around it, or where did that lead?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the footnote, but the Catch My Breath program was developed by the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston, and utilizes a peer-led teaching approach, meets national and state health education standards, and a lot of it has been funded by CBS, their foundation, so that's kind of the
Okay,
science behind it.
and then I do have some concerns over the questionnaire. How is the release form being distributed? Is it given to students to take to their parents, or is there
No, we would work with the district, and I don't know how they necessarily inform their parents. I think there's probably an email list that they utilize so it would go out to the parents and that type of.
Dr. J, can you answer that question, please?
Yeah, Madam President, members of the board and guests, we're such a small district. We're talking 5th grade, 6th grade is 100 kids. It is not a challenge at all for Dr. Wheeldryer to get those out and get those back.
Is there a reason that it's opt-out instead of opt-in, since I think opt-in would guarantee that we have parental, consent?
Well, whatever the board prefers, we just thought that was more beneficial to everybody in terms of, we don't really see anything objectionable in this program, and, if parents are paying attention to what's being sent home and all that kind of thing. But if there's a majority preference for something else, we can certainly do that.
Okay, sorry, and then just two more, which you kind of touched on.
Ask a question, follow-up
Yes.
to that. I'm sorry to interrupt. So my understanding that Arizona Revised Statute 15-117 states that it must be an opt-in for surveys this year, so I would like clarification from our legal counselor, Dr. J, if that is actually required before we would kind of send out that form.
Yes, and as I shared, in everything we do, we double check, triple check. So this is information to see, for them to share with you what the program is as far as the logistics of doing it correctly. We will take care of that as a district.
Okay, so then the last two, which you did touch on when you mentioned that the grant requires the survey. Because it was concerning to me that we were collecting data on the students instead of just giving them the information about vaping and why it's wrong. I remember in my high school, that was something that the health teacher covered and definitely, dove into the consequences of making, poor life choices, and there wasn't any collection of data on the students. And then you also said that the grant money is tied to the questionnaire. Is the coalition or getting it compensated in any other way for collecting the data? Is it just tied to the grant and the health department?
Well, the questionnaire is anonymous, and if you read the questionnaire that was in the packet, the first few sentences, and we'll have the trainer in the classroom with the kids, and it'll be clearly stated that, kids, you don't have to participate at all on the survey if you don't want to. You can skip questions if you want. It's anonymous. We won't know which kids answered what, but the whole point is you're trying to gauge how much they know about vaping and marketing and the health aspects before the program, and then you survey them after the program to see how much they've learned. And so a lot of the prevention science on drugs and alcohol is data driven. So, you want to know, like, okay, X percentage of the kids learned, that vaping, the vapor has, bad chemicals or metals in it, so you can actually measure the progress that you've made over the course of the program. So.
And I'll just piggyback on that. Over the course of time, the coalition has provided different programs to our kids, and they've collected data along the way. And how long has the coalition been in existence, Mike?
13 years.
13 years. They have found that the drug of choice has changed. And so where, before the coalition, they had data based on how many kids were smoking marijuana or drinking or just smoking cigarettes. And then as they started collecting data and giving kids more information and providing these types of curriculums, they started to see those numbers go down when kids realized the different, chemicals and what they were doing to your body. Or, when, marijuana usage was high, that over time that went down, but maybe that's when the joules came in and they started going up. And so, that's basically what they're collecting, is that where do they need to focus their efforts? What is the drug of choice right now for kids?
And a lot of our information and data also comes from the Arizona Youth Survey that's administered throughout the state every other year. And so we do have data from 22 2022 survey, and I'll just briefly, that's given to 8th, 10th, and 12th graders. And again, that's an anonymous survey as well, but it's pretty comprehensive, covers a lot of different topics. But one of them is drugs, alcohol, bullying, those types of things. But we analyzed the AYS data, and if you look at e-cigarettes back in 2018, almost 30% of the kids here in this district had reported that they had vaped within the last 30 days from when they took the survey. So this is 8th, 10th, and 12th graders combined. But the 2022 survey showed that only 12% of the kids were reporting that they had vaped the last 30 days. So that's a reduction of almost 60%. So again, we're never going to hit zero, but the point is try to keep lowering those numbers each year.
Do you have other questions? No. Okay. Libby, do you have more questions?
I do.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming out, Mike, and talking to us about the program.
You bet.
So I know Madison asked about the data collection a little bit. Does it stay at the coalition, or is that information then transmitted to other organizations as well?
We are required twice a year to report through our federal grant, some of the programming we've done, different things that we staged, different events, different programs. I mean, so we will report like, okay, Fountain Hills kids participate in this vaping curriculum. Here's the numbers that we're showing in terms of the percent of change of the education from before the program started to after.
So our kids' results don't go anywhere else. They just end at the coalition.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's just the numbers, based on, Fountain Hills kids. So there's no names or identities or anything like that. So.
And then it's my understanding that our teachers would then be required to teach this curriculum?
Well, what we do is, in the past, someone from the coalition has offered the program. So we still need to work out some logistics and have someone trained on the program. But no, the teacher, whether, we used to do it through gym classes. So the gym teacher would either be there or take a little break. But someone outside of the district, probably at this point in time, would be offering the curriculum.
Okay. And last question, sorry. If it was curriculum that was done, the Catch My Breath program that was done in the past, I'd just like to see that in a board minute notice that it was approved previously.
Yeah. And again, I said it was adjusted a little bit, and that was basically just to keep up with the industry and the different mechanisms that are out there for vaping. So that's a big change in part of the education process. So.
Was it called Catch My Breath in the past? Or has it always been Catch My Breath, or is it something else?
Yeah, it was Catch My Breath and then the Stanford one.
Okay,
so, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lillian or Dana?
No, I appreciate that you have the survey in there. That first of all, telling the parents that you're going to be doing this, and the fact that you're going to have somebody that's been trained to do this instead of putting it on the teachers.
Yeah,
have to do.
we want to do that. So there's already burden enough, and we'll definitely work with Dr. J on the letter home and figure out how that law reads, and obviously we'll do the correct thing. So.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next up is high-tech presentation. Dr. J.
Yeah, Madam President, members of the board and guests. Since I've arrived, I have been working with our camera system and taking a look at what we have and where we need to be. And I've been working with high tech as far as getting information about what we can do, what our system has now, what it's capable of doing, and where we need to grow it and where we need to move it forward. And I was a part of the last camera upgrade that we did prior to COVID, but I can certainly say that what we discussed at the time and what was installed were different. and there are still things that need to be done, in my opinion. And so I've asked them to come tonight to share information so that we can have further discussion in the future and decide which way we'd like to go with our camera systems.
Thank you. Hi.
We tried to match you in numbers. You win this round, all right?
Next time.
Is that permanent? Yeah, is that? I don't know. Yeah, it has a different.
Do you need an adapter?
Adapter, if you guys do. Oh, awesome. All right, just. Are we done?
We're high-tech like that.
I like it. We'll play on work. Well, hello. While he's kind of setting everything up here. Oh, go ahead. Okay. While he's kind of setting everything up, I'll introduce ourselves. Like Dr. J introduced here, we work with High Tech Networks. My name is Scott Clore. This is my partner, Brett Pierce. And yeah, we're here to talk to you about security. We brought one of our trusted vendors here, Verkada. That's kind of the solution we're going to present to you today. So he's going to kind of talk about the needs that we've gone over with Dr. J and eventually here. Is that password? Good.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for bearing with us.
No problem.
And
Thank you.
congratulations to the three newly appointed board members.
Thank you.
Let me see.
You all see this?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for bearing with me, just getting everything together. But wanted to give you guys a presentation on campus security. Like Dr. Cannon mentioned, he brought us in several months ago to discuss what's currently in place and how to take steps as far as advancements in campus security. So myself with Verkada and then along with High Tech, what we presented is a comprehensive presentation on everything the district will have in the future. So why Verkada? Why do other school districts like yourself love Verkada? Main aspects is being able to monitor them off campus, right? So today and date, we want to be able to access this on our phones. We want to access the camera footage anywhere, any device, anytime. Especially during an emergency situation, you want the ability to send those live links to first responders in a matter of seconds. Based off the research and the discovery, currently the current system does not have that capability. So we want to make sure that we're enabling you guys with all those features. Another key aspect is preventing unauthorized visitors, right? Big task with Dr. Kane was making sure that we, first priority, secure the perimeters, right? So we want to make sure that we have coverage over the fences, around the perimeters, as right now, if that were to happen, we may not get those results. So taking you right here, just essentially outlines what you guys currently have in place. It's an outdated system like Dr. Kane had mentioned. The issues with it, integrating multiple NVRs is complex across campuses, no centralized monitoring. So it's really, really tough to see exactly what's happening from the elementary school, middle school, to the high school, whereas with Verkada and High Tech, what we'll be able to do is bring that to one centralized platform where you can manage from your mobile app. No better development with the cloud strategy than current outdated NVR system. So no real-time alerts or automatic firmware software updates. Current system has poor image quality as well as needed adjusted coverage going on the perimeter. Then unable to receive historical footage of less than 7 days. So if an incident were to have occurred, I think it honestly might be a little bit less than that 7 days. you guys currently wouldn't be able to retrieve that. Just going on that video storage of 7 days makes it very, very hard as far as incident resolution, frame time, as well as that resolution. So zooming in on a picture currently, wouldn't be able to say, hey, who is this, what student is this, or what person from the outside is this. Ease of use. So today's day and age, we want something that's easy to use, right? We don't want it difficult for administration, for teachers. Anyone that needs to use it, we want something that's easy, simple, you can quickly use, especially in case of emergency. No remote accessibility, so with Verkada, you'll have everything once again on your mobile app if needed. You can do all the features, all the functionalities from the palm of your hand. Next is going to be the other challenge is the administration has the difficulty of navigating the current system. So talking to some of the principals, some of the daily users, currently unable to use it just because of the complexity of it. No real-time alerts, so not providing alerts for notifications of outsiders coming on campus, no person of interest notifications. And then lastly is that maintenance and support. So the current cameras and servers, including those MVRs and DVRs, are prone to breakdowns, taking entire systems offline, losing out on that historical footage. Repairs require a technician and high out-of-warranty costs, with typical warranties lasting anywhere from 1 year to 3 years. Repairs require a technician, or I just read that, sorry about that. Device software patching is resource intensive. So why has Dr. Kane brought us out there is because Verkada is a solution. Starting off with the outdated system right here. So Verkada will provide you with access to cameras anywhere, any device, anytime. So we're starting off with cameras, but then Verkada also manufactures access control, so locking down all of your schools in a matter of seconds if needed. Also providing you with vape sensors. I know just the previous conversation, if that's of interest, we also manufacture vape sensors. Tying those in with the cameras to give you guys that real insight as far as who's vaping, when they're vaping, and helping you with that epidemic. The other aspect of this is centralized platform, make it very easy to manage. All software updates are included and are all delivered to the cameras automatically. So gone are the days that your IT team's going to have to update each camera individually. Our cameras do that automatically, and once again, free of charge. So future-proofing that investment. Next aspect is all the Verkada cameras provide high-quality image at a minimum of 5 megapixels to 12 megapixels with digital and optical zoom capabilities to give your team the ability to protect students as well as faculty. Next message on the video storage. So all Verkada cameras come with onboard storage directly on the camera itself, providing 24/7 recording. So not just recording off of purely motion recording 24/7, storing anywhere from 30 days to 365 days of guaranteed retention directly on that camera itself. So you can go back 30 days and store that footage. Next thing, Verkada is going to give you unlimited cloud archiving. So if you guys have to save a clip, right, the full day, you can access that clip for the next 5, 6, 7 years, 50 years if needed, and you can save as many clips as you want, from 1 minute to 24-hour clips. So to say whether you're saving 2 clips or 200,000 clips, Verkada's not going to charge you a dime. Next aspect is that ease of use, very, very important. So Verkada is easier for non-technical users with providing an easy-to-use user interface paired with AI analytics that takes the time to find relevant footage down to just seconds. Users can save and share encrypted footage via SMS and email in seconds securely, especially during those emergency situations. Verkada provides proactive alerts for people of interest, vape, temperature, motion notifications, tamper alerts, offline updating as SMS, email push notifications on the mobile application. Lastly, most important, of course, being a school, we want to make sure you guys are covered, right? So all the hardware that Verkada provides has an industry-leading 10-year warranty. As I mentioned, all manufacturers out on the market are only going to provide you the 1 to 3 year on that warranty. So that's cameras, in the future, access control, vape sensors, alarms, visitor management system, intercom system, all that are going to have an industry-leading 10-year warranty. Lastly, because the cameras are plug and play, they can easily be swapped by IT, removing the need for on-site technician visits. And lastly, all software updates are included and are delivered to the cameras automatically. So this is people analytics, vehicle analytics, license plate recognition, face search. Whenever Verkada comes out with a new upgrade, that's pushed into your cameras at no additional charge. Going to the next slide.
Real
Yeah.
quick, one thing I want to touch on, so high tech, we work with a ton of school districts, provide technology services to them. The reason we partner with Vergata is because how smart the camera is. It's like the next generation camera. So what we found is all the school districts have cameras, but nobody's watching like a monitor. They're not getting alerts, you're not getting push notifications to your phone. So the camera is more like a reactive system, like for vandalism, we'll go back and scroll through the tape and figure out who the vandal is. This is like a very proactive system. I think we can stop things before they happen. Keep cameras on, push notifications, you can stop incidents before they happen. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what Dr. Kane taps on. Hey, we want a proactive solution rather than reactive. We want to get those alerts when people are breaking the perimeter, getting into our system, getting text message right to our mobile application. Next, of course, be a school, right? You want a great system that has a controlled total cost of ownership. How Verkada works is there's 2 line items, the hardware and the software. No hidden costs, like I mentioned, predictable renewal costs. 10-year warranty on all of the hardware. Verkada next day are amazed, I know, especially with everything that's happening with supply chain. All of our inventory, if you guys were to take a look at it, it's all green. If you guys ordered 100 cameras, 1,000 cameras tomorrow, they'll all arrive at your door. If you pay for the next day shipment, of course. Best-in-class IT technical support. So we provide free 24/7 support. 5 different ways you can get it, right? The first one is a chat box, specifically in our Verkada command. So that's on web browser, also on your phone. You can also set it, hey, here's my phone number, can you please give me a call? The next one is sending an email. Our office is located in Tempe, so you also have me as well as the other rep locally, and then as well as high tech. So 5 different ways to receive the service. I know that's always important. Hey, we just spent this money, what's the service going to look like? And that's all included with Verkada. Next is going to be no ongoing maintenance costs. So we've eliminated a lot of that additional hardware, such as the MVRs, DVR servers, DIC clients, VMS software, the automatic firmware and software updates. So that's when Verkada comes out with those new features, new functionalities like license plate recognition, people analytics, vehicle analytics, audio. All that stuff is pushed on your cameras at no additional charge. Lastly is unlimited users, so especially with school districts, right? You guys don't want to be nickel and dime for each user that you add. So Verkada is going to give you unlimited users. And then lastly is unlimited cloud archiving. So whether you save, once again, 2 clips or 200,000 clips, you're not going to be charged a dime. Here is just a list of the products that High Tech provides using Verkada. So right now, or today, we are discussing the cameras, but we also have access control. We can lock all of your doors in a matter of seconds. Environmental sensors, which one of the 8 things it senses is vape. The next is alarms. So we have a 24/7 professional monitoring. We can actually use your cameras as smart detectors, making sure that you guys can get rid of all false alarms. So it actually sends that relevant footage to the people saying, hey, indeed someone's breaking in, or hey, this is just motion, of course, being set off. Next is guest. So that what guest does, it's going to pair with the cameras, pair with the access control, and it's also going to do a screen background to make sure that this person isn't a sexual offender in the area, to make sure that the people that are showing up on campus are the right people, right? And then next, let's go to, any questions? Sorry, that was a lot of information.
Just a quick,
Yes,
well, how's the power provided to each of these cameras?
How the power? Yeah, so they receive power via PoE, so power over Ethernet. So we've taken out the complexities. You simply just get a Cat5, Cat6 cable, connect one into a switch and then one into the camera. Great question. The other aspect too is all of our exterior cameras have what's called IP67. Highest rating you can have as far as an exterior camera, so weather resistance. And then also the exterior cameras have an IK10 vandal resistance. The cameras also have a built-in accelerometer, which is just a fancy machine, letting you know anytime that a student, someone were to hit the camera, even put their hand over the field of view, me or your team are going to be alerted proactively via text message or email. And then what the deployment looks like. So this is the high school. There's a lot of different symbols is what you'll see on there. The yellow ones are our CD42E. Those are our exterior domes. The other one that you'll see is red. That is a CD52. The difference between one has an optical zoom, one is going to have a digital zoom, just based off of Dr. Kane's recognition. Hey, we want to get these people analytics letting us know that someone has broken the perimeter. The other one that you'll see is one of our multi-sensor cameras. Really, really great cameras to get you a lot of coverage. You'll see some fisheyes on there, and then along with bullet cameras. Next one, and then we've also marked, hey, these are current cameras, these are new cameras. Next are going to be the interior cameras. So of course, during an emergency situation, right, we want to make sure that we can pull that footage in a matter of seconds. So if that were to have happened, right, you can actually share via not just one camera, but all of your cameras to first responders, just like that. Which would cause so very, very impactful. Next one is the parking lots, as far as the coverage there. So currently no coverage in any of those areas. So we want to make sure that we are once again securing the perimeters as well as ensuring the safety of your faculty and students. Next one is the middle school. So you'll see some, of course, fisheyes, some multi-sensors, bullet cameras, dome cameras, once again just ensuring the safety on that perimeter, as well as inside, and you'll see every single camera where they're situated throughout the elementary school. Next one is the transportation facility. So a mixture of bullet cameras, some fisheye cameras, and then here the interior. But that's about it. So yeah, it was a lot of information, but yeah, if you guys have any questions.
Can I clarify one thing? So currently, we have Panasonic cameras. And the Panasonic cameras and the system that we use to access them has not been user-friendly. And that's why I wanted to look into something else. I have it on, all of our principals have it on their computers. I have it on my computer. But what I'm looking for in school security is we have outdoor campuses. Our campuses were built prior to Columbine for all of them except the middle school. Middle school is the most school safety, forward thinking of all of our schools, and that's obvious when it was built. But when you look at the high school campus, if you bring that map back up, we have so much perimeter space. We're up against a park. We're up against a major thoroughway through the town, and we have some fencing, some areas for additional fencing. So when you look at that's a lot of work to get where we need to be. And so what I tasked them with, and the reason I reached out is they were part of our previous camera experience. When we were looking at cameras at that time, Verkada was a sample camera we had in the high school lobby for about a month as we got to play with it. And the features were just, heads above what we have with Panasonic. I wasn't here when those cameras were purchased. I don't know what happened to that order, but it obviously went in a different direction. And so a lot of the wiring is done, a lot of the infrastructure is there. It's really about the project is updating the usability of the cameras, whatever we decide to do, but it's creating a perimeter. And the perimeter would be, once that's breached, areas that shouldn't be breached, somewhere where a student shouldn't be, or an adult should not be coming onto campus, that would be an instant notification to a mobile device, to a phone. It would alert our security guards, our principals, the superintendent, first responders, SRO. And so you have now saved minutes of time by having somebody come out there and check that out, prior to what we have now is very reactive. We hear something's on there, we go check, now it's been 5 minutes or so before we know. So that's what I tasked them with, and that's what I wanted them to present you with tonight.
We can even create policies, so if there is an area that nobody should be in a certain given time, we can create policies that create an emergency type of alert. There's no chance there's somebody like custodians or staff should be walking in that area at that time, so types of orders. So it's just the system is like limitless in terms of what we can configure and set up. Some of the upgrades that we kind of touched on, like the current system you have in your computer, it requires a web browser, it requires an NPR in a closet, and a camera. They all run different software tools. So one of them updates, like Google updates their Chrome browser. It might not be compatible with current NPR software, which then needs a camera upgrade or a firmware upgrade on the camera. All that's eliminated because this is all cloud. Everything's talking to the cloud, everything updates sequentially, and you guys don't have to touch it. So for manpower, it saves a ton of time.
Does the board have questions?
I just want to make sure I understand something correctly. Who has access? We decide, like we get to pick the users and,
Yeah.
okay.
So principals, security guards, SRO, And then right now, we've set up with our system a laptop at each site for first responders to use. But again, they have to get there, they have to log in, the software, they load the software, and then they can go from there. With this system, we'd be able to share with MCSO the link immediately, and as they're responding, they would have access to all cameras. Right now, one of the biggest issues I struggle with our current system is I can't check what's going on outside of a school building. So once we leave school, the software no longer works. This system they're proposing would allow us from home, from any other part, wherever what we're doing, to be able to access that and see what's going on.
Yeah, I differentiate the access how you want, like, say, guide facilities, one's not.
So these are cameras in San Francisco. Cameras in our
Okay. And then, so we purchased the equipment, and then is it like a subscription type thing for the service?
The license we included is 10 years, so there's actually warranty on the camera. So for the life of the product, no additional fees. And then what's nice is we'll have keeping infrastructure in place. We want all the sites will application.
Oh, perfect. The cameras in San
So
Francisco.
10 years from now, there's better cameras out there, and we have to replace cameras, all the cabling costs are taken care of, and it's just all our cameras.
Yeah, and then, just to go on, great question. Just a full rundown on everything that's included on the software side is once again that control of total cost of ownership. So that unlimited cloud archiving, the unlimited users, automatic firmware software updates like people analytics, vehicle analytics, person of interest notification, license plate of interest notification, no ongoing software costs, and then unlimited users, as far as creating those specific groups that are all customizable.
And with the license, you get unlimited upgrades to, if they come out with a new feature that
Exactly.
exists today, you'll have it.
What's a predictable renewal cost? Is that after the 10 years, or is that like a yearly thing that we're going to have to renew?
No, so it's not, after 10 years. So
After
it's a
10
set it and forget it. That's, the big reason why schools love Ricotta is that, first of all, it's that 10-year warranty, you can't beat that. But is that predictable renewal cost? So, hey, this is what our system's gonna cost for the next 10 years. We've eliminated the maintenance costs, software costs, cut and dry, here's the cost that it's gonna be, and then you don't have to worry about a thing for the next 10 years.
So it's not a monthly fee
No,
that we
no
have to
monthly.
pay, not a
Yeah.
yearly fee,
Exactly.
not $9.95 now and
Right.
next
Yeah.
month $19.95.
Not like that at all. And then the other big thing that schools love too is also that one-day cloud archiving. So I assume a lot of the schools are going to have to save clips, right? So if you guys want to save hypothetically 24-hour clips for the full year, you can do so. Ricotta's not going to charge you. You can do that. It's going to take a little bit of extra manpower, but so if you guys want to save, like I said, 2 clips or 200 clips.
And then is the footage protected from alternative use or being, hacked or anything by
Exactly.
outside
It's
of?
all your guys' information, yep.
So I'm going to ask our two historians here, do we know when our last camera purchase was, since Dr. J wasn't here?
Yeah.
2019.
2019?
Well, no, 2020.
But
It
it
was,
wasn't.
we were working on it prior to COVID. We went on break, we didn't come back. And then that following, I believe, fall, they put in more Panasonic cameras, which is what we've had in the past.
So in 2020, the cameras were updated with additional cameras, or that's when we purchased?
We added additional cameras to additional blind spots on campus that needed addressing. But there was talk at the time of going with a full system reboot, of doing something like this. And that's what I thought when I walked back in, that had been done. And when I went on the software and saw it wasn't, that was a concern because, again, outside of all the research I've done, when you have a campus like that, you have a couple of options. You have motion detection cameras, you got weapon sniffing dogs, and you got a lot of security guards out there. And we've done what we can with security. We do have multiple, but the opportunity to put in a system in place that is proactive is just very appealing to me for school safety.
Last question, do we know what we paid in 2020 when we purchased those additional cameras?
I can get that for you. I don't have it off the top of my head.
Thank you.
I have one last question. You mentioned being able to lock doors. Do we have doors capable of doing that, or would that be an additional?
We don't at this time. We would have, that would be, again, phase 7. No, I'm kidding. There's phases to the project. Yeah. So for example, consolidation. We're no longer doing we may not have to do all of McDowell Mountain now. We may have to just emphasize beefing up the preschool area. So that saves some costs. But the largest cost of all of this is the high school campus because of the size of it and its location.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
This plan didn't include any pictures of McDowell Mountain, so is the plan to add any cameras there, or?
No, they have it.
I have it, yeah, I think I just, this is a
Okay.
PDF,
It's
and
not a
I have
slide.
a Wi-Fi.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Dana?
Yeah, 10-year warranty in this technology era that we're in. Let's face it, this technology will be old news 10 years from now. But it's still going to do what it does. If our needs don't change, it's still going to be as good to us, even though that there's going to be some awesome stuff out there 10 years from now that we need to look at to replace this if we do. But I was on the, around back when we built the high school, 104 outside doors, and as you say, it's an outside campus with a number of different buildings. It's a difficult campus in any situation to secure, and it's a 24-hour need with parking lots, with activity events that go on and so forth, both on campus and adjacent to campus. So, I haven't seen any costs yet, but I think looking at what you've provided to us tonight is very important, so thank you.
I was kidding, I have one more question.
Yes.
As the software and as technology advances, when better cameras or things come up, will we be able to do just an upgrade, or do we have to repurchase? Is there any kind of discount since we already work with you guys or anything
no,
like that?
definitely. So how it works is, let's just say, I think on here we have a CD42 model. With that 10-year warranty, if the CD42 breaks, next 6-7 years we're not manufacturing that CD42, you guys will receive a CD43 or a CD44. That most comparable. So if your iPhone breaks, right, hope you always look forward to that because then you're like, okay, great, I get an iPhone 12, get an iPhone 13. Similar with Cloud.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
No, great question.
Is your slideshow something that you can provide to Krista, that she can provide
Yes.
it to the board?
Yes.
So that way we have all the information, because
Yes.
while we all took great notes, I'm sure there's still stuff that we would like to read when we have more downtime.
Definitely. And then we have, all the pricing as well. I don't have it on this PDF, as mentioned, didn't have the Wi-Fi, so.
Yeah, if you can provide this PDF, and then Dr. J will work with us on the pricing.
And our information, if you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to answer.
Are there any other additional questions from the board?
Just my question is, what's gonna happen with all the Panasonic? Do we trade it in? Do we donate it? Just to think of what to do with it.
They're junk, right?
Or
Just
just
say
say
it.
at this point, yeah.
We always look for opportunities to make some money the best way we can. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay, next up are student activity and auxiliary accounts that you have provided in your board packet. Are there questions from the board? Libby?
I just have a statement to make that it's my understanding we'll be receiving additional training on Friday, and I'll refrain from answering or asking any of my finance questions until after that training.
Thank you. And this was just information, so there's never voting on it, so just so you know. Next up is the unaudited financial report on page 59. Again, are there any questions? Hearing none, we'll move on. Current enrollment and withdrawal. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none. we'll move-
Can I ask one?
Go ahead.
So when we have long-term suspensions, are those counted as a withdrawal and then always counted as a new?
Go ahead, Dr. J.
Yeah, I can answer that. So, no, they really don't affect, it depends. So a lot of what we offer any student who's long-term suspended is opportunity to go into our virtual academy. And when they go into our virtual academy and then they come back to the campus, it has a very minor effect based on the fact that online you get 95% of the base support versus a student in our campus 100%, but it's over the full 100 days. So average daily membership, it will fluctuate a little bit, but it doesn't affect our, our enrollment stays the same, basically, if they go and come back. And we are up again since our last meeting, so
Yes,
we've
up for
continued
students.
to keep that going, and I know I have several tours that I've done and have scheduled coming up as well.
Any positive is improvement. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. Public comments. Krista, do we have public comments? Thank you. Call to the public. Call to the public this is the time for the public to comment. Time limits may be allocated on public comment at the discretion of the board president for the board to efficiently complete its business. The board reserves the right to prohibit any comments made in a discourteous or threatening manner. Complaints about specific individuals, students, or personnel are discouraged. Personnel issues should be directed to the appropriate staff member or administrator per district policy. Members of the board may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to ARS 38-431.01H, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to any criticism, or scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date. Our one public comment is from Tana Boersma. Please. Thank you for listening to all the presentations and waiting patiently.
My name is Tana Boersma, just to introduce myself. My husband and I have lived in Fountain Hills for 20 years. And we moved here in 2002 because we loved the mountain views, we loved the small town feel, and we were really interested in the excellent schools. We had a 2-year-old and a baby on the way at the time, so that's just a little bit about us. So since my oldest started in kindergarten in August of 2005, I've been volunteering in the school system. I've been extraordinarily thankful for the teachers, the parent community, other volunteers, the coaches, the administrators that have worked so hard throughout the years to give my children and many of yours a well-rounded experience at school. 2 of our kids have graduated and gone off to college, and they were some of the proud few that can stand up at graduation and say, we went to school here from kindergarten through 12th grade, which is really a neat thing in our small district. Our youngest is in high school, he's in 10th grade, and I want for him to have all of the same opportunities that his siblings had. So I want to thank those of you that supported the bond and override and what would have resulted with those initiatives passing. It is important in any school district to have the support of the community to keep the school doors open, competitive, and prepared for the tools needed to educate our kids that are going to be the next generation of leaders. And I'm very thankful to Dr. J for taking kind of the rotten hand that was dealt to him in November and working around the clock to make the best of it. I'm so disappointed in this bond and override not passing and for the misinformation that was presented in our town about it. This has led to a multitude of issues for our students, whether they are 4 years old or 14. So I'm here just to specifically acknowledge that now there really is no money for athletics in the budget and other extracurricular activities. I'm also here to remind everyone on the board and at this meeting how important athletics and other activities are to students' well-being and success in the classroom. All of my children have participated in Falcon sports, and each of them has become a better person and a better student from the lessons that they've learned on the field, from their coaches, and from becoming part of a family with their teammates. As parents, we've really been put kind of in a crummy situation to have no funding. So we've come together to fundraise for things that really should be able to be provided by the district through community support, as it has in the past. This includes uniforms for our players, and it also includes the football and soccer field for our kids to practice and play on, which they aren't going to be able to do after this season. So yes, I'm mentioning the field. It's just one issue in a long list of many other large funding issues, but I think it's also important to remember that without our kids having access to the funds in that bond, the district cannot replace the field for the football players, for the soccer players, for band kids, for pom kids, not to mention the PE classes that need to use the field. My son is a football player, but this is not only for him, this is for his friends and their friends, so that they can have an outstanding high school experience. I would just ask the board to be supportive of the efforts that the parents are spearheading, and to be sure that the funds that we're raising through the tax credits are used for the student athletes and for the field that we're working so hard to replace. So parents and community members that are here or online, we really need your help. If you don't know how or where to start, you can just reach out to me and I'll help you take the next step. So I just want to thank you for your time and all of your efforts that go into what you're doing. And in closing, I just want to remind everyone that we've all suffered through such a divisive time in our community, but we are a community, so if we could work together, we can become better together. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay, there's no more public comments, so we will move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes the personnel action report, payroll vouchers, accounts payable vouchers, and donations. Are there any questions from the board regarding the consent agenda items? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second. All in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Action items. So the board schedules 1 to 2 retreats a year. We figured that now is a good time to do a retreat with new board members. It gives us the opportunity to sit down with each other in an open setting and talk about the goals of the board, kind of the best practices of the board, and things like that. So we would like to get that on the calendar. Dates that are currently up for consideration are Monday, February 6th, Wednesday, February 15th, or Thursday, February 16th, and this will be a retreat from 4 to 6 p.m. on any of those days. So I will open it up for conversation if there's dates that work better for some than others.
I would prefer Monday the 6th.
You would prefer Monday the 6th, okay?
I have no objection.
No objection?
Ditto.
Okay, Lillian?
I prefer not Monday, but Monday's fine.
Okay, well, since Monday's fine, we'll go with Monday the 6th. I think the sooner the better. And that will be on a week that we do not already have a board meeting, because back-to-back sometimes is not fun.
Right.
So Monday the 6th, oh no, we do actually, we'll have one on the 8th, but that's all right. So Monday the 6th it'll be, all in favor of, do I have a motion for Monday the 6th to be the retreat date?
I make a motion for Monday, February 6th to be the board retreat date from 4 to 6 p.m.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor of Monday, February 6th for the retreat, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up are information and discussion items. The first is renaming of the preschool building. Dr. J?
Madam President, members of the board and guests, as we move forward with consolidation, and I'm very excited about what we're doing with preschool, and it's just a reminder to everyone, you know, the data that we've looked at and the planning we've done. There are a lot of kids under the age of 5 in this town, and this gives us an opportunity to really bring them in as preschoolers. We saw a preschooler get recognized tonight, which is so awesome to see. We're able to now really expand our preschool beyond what we've ever been able to do in the past. We're excited. The staff is excited. I've met with them on Monday just to make sure we're still moving forward. Everyone is super excited about what we're doing. But we do feel that having McDowell Mountain Preschool and McDowell Mountain Elementary School in 2 separate locations is going to cause a problem. So we do need to look at renaming it. I tasked Leah Gleason, who is now our early childhood director, to work with the staff, work with internally on coming up with a name, and what they presented to me I really liked. I want to present that tonight. I know we're not voting on it, but just for discussion, we really liked the name Little Falcons Preschool as a way to, years ago we all went to Falcons. We made a push. We're all Falcons. And so McDowell Mountain was no longer the Bobcats, and we moved to that theme, and this goes along with it. We have envisioned a logo with little baby falcons in a nest, and just really growing that idea of once you come into our preschool, you're a Falcon for life, and you go straight to kindergarten into this beautiful K-5 school that's going to be there for them, and we think that's going to grow enrollment. So with that's what I'd like to propose for discussion tonight and a future vote.
Any comments or questions from the board regarding the name change?
Sounds good to me.
I like it.
Okay. I guess there's no discussion. I like the Little Falcons. I think that's a good name, and I agree with you that 2 buildings called McDowell Mountain are way too confusing. Next up is the student trip, grades 8 through 12, to Scotland, England, France, in March of 2024. This will be presented by Mr. Peterson, who's here. Are you going to speak on this? No?
Mr. Sunshine was thinking he was.
Oh, Mr. Sunshine, you're going to speak on it. Come on up, guys.
Well, we're really here to field any questions that you have.
Okay. Dr. J, would you like to make any comments regarding this trip?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for being here tonight and your patience as we go through the meeting. You know, I've shared over time as, you know, a principal and now in this role that, you know, I do support our kids traveling. I think being world travelers is very important. I've spoke to so many parents and students about the experience they get from the trips, and I appreciate that we have staff that continuously wants to take on that opportunity and take our kids across the world. So I would just say if you guys have anything you want to share regarding what we have planned, would be great.
Well, EF2 is the company that we've been working with for many, many years. And the upcoming trip that we're looking at for next year for the Scotland England trip is going to take us to a lot of different locations. And as an English teacher, I'm going to be a little biased here in terms of what we're going to be seeing. To go up to Scotland, we're going to see some places that inspired J.K. Rowling's Hogwarts, the castles and everything. We're going to see some places that inspired Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. We're going to see where Robert Louis Stevenson spent some time. In England, we're going to go to get to see Anne Hathaway's house and like Princess Diary, who will not be there. Who coincidentally married a man who did look like William Shakespeare. We're going to get to go see where she's from. We're going to get to see a little bit of where Shakespeare did his, some things. And just take the conventional London tour of all the big name locations and stuff. So the kids get to actually live the literature that they're reading and actually see the locations that they're only really talking about. So that's just some of the big highlights that we're going to be seeing on that trip.
It's highly organized, as you know, and we just kind of help guide the system as we've experienced before.
I'll attest to that. Both of my children have gone. My daughter's been to Spain and Italy with you, and then my son has been to Italy. EF Tours does a great job. I mean, the amount of stuff you guys squeeze in over that time is just unbelievable. And because it's with EF Tour Company, which is an education tour company, there are many sites that the students get to go to that they wouldn't normally get to go to if they just went on their own. EF has a little cloud over there. So it is very organized, and I'm always a big supporter of the trip. I appreciate that your packet was done in completion. I don't know, it's Luke's handwriting. The only thing that I will reiterate over and over again is that I just need that the parents understand that if this trip is approved and they pay with tax credits and the trip gets canceled, they may not have their tax credits back. So I need that like signed in blood. Madison, do you have questions?
I do, I have a few. I see that there's no non-school chaperones. Is it open to non-school chaperones? That just haven't been?
We're keeping it within the district for the school. We're not letting, we've had people, like students outside the district who have like heard about this and wanted to go, but we're keeping it local to the district only.
Okay, and then how did you get the number of students? Have people already signed up or? Yes. Okay. And then are there?
We are kind of doing an estimate thing.
Oh, okay. Okay, based off of like previous attendance. Okay. And then are there options for students whose families cannot afford a trip like this? Like is there little scholarships or something that they can kind of?
The tax credit is the easiest way to even the playing field on that. That way they can get the donations from people. And while some families will be able to pay straightforwardly, just like Bill was saying, those who can't can go around and ask for tax credits. That balance it.
They go and ask people?
We do not give tax, like, if you donate, if you put your tax credit in, we do not give the student your tax credit. The student would have to come to you and you would have to specify that that tax credit is for them.
Okay.
We cannot designate anyone's tax credit for anything other than what they've designated it for.
Okay.
I don't participate in any fundraising directly with students.
Okay.
I leave all the finances to them. However, on one hand, $12 is an amazing value.
That's great, okay. I am a huge fan of trips like this. I think they're awesome and they get you excited about learning and seeing the world. I did have one other question. I noticed that it said that vaccines were not required to get into, what does it say? COVID vaccines are not required to go on the trip, but then a little bit later it said all will need to be vaccinated to enter buildings on the tour. Do we have another schedule for kids that maybe don't get vaccinated? Are they gonna be able to do stuff, or are they gonna kind of be sitting around?
I'd like to see where it says that. I don't remember seeing that.
That's a good question, because it's constantly changing. When we've been planning it, it's been constantly in a change. So like a year from now, it may be null and void, that they may not even require that.
Okay.
But we can go back and talk and see for sure.
I think we'd have to get closer to that moment. When we went to Greece, there was signs everywhere saying that we needed to be vaccinated. And then as soon as we got off the plane, it was mostly just paper, frankly. And no student did not participate in anything due to being or not being.
Okay.
And EF is so organized that a lot of times we do have like option A, option B for students to do two different things.
Okay.
So if we mention this to the tour guide will go back and recheck into things and say, okay, well, here's the option we're gonna do, here's the alternative option for the students.
Awesome, thank you.
Could you please get clarification and ask Kristen to provide that for the board, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I do appreciate that there's an English teacher going to make the connection with all this. I took students abroad many times with EF, as well as ACIS, and I would like you to just look into ACIS. Sometimes it's slightly more expensive, but they actually do a little bit more. They will have buses that will take you directly, where with EF, sometimes you have to take the subway and several, different buses instead of taking you directly. So just check into that for next time.
Well, we're not done yet. Are there other questions from the board regarding the Scotland, England, and France trip?
My only question is with the tax credit, which I think is fantastic, because you said you're not going to do fundraising or anything. But who does the money transitions? Because I know when we did it, our trips, you pay directly to EF. So what happens if the tax credit comes to the school district?
The tax credit does have to come to the school district. EF cannot accept tax credits.
Right.
So it has to come to the school district, and the finance department they decide, they have an account that it goes into and then attached to the student's name, just like for sports or anything like that.
So it's something extra for the finance department they have to do from us.
It is.
So they should get some kind of incentive.
We love you. But yeah, no, you can only pay EF tours directly with just cash money.
Exactly.
Nothing to do with the tax credits in the school.
Yeah.
One last question. This is something that students have to have had good behavior in order to go on, right? Or things like that?
Yes, Mr. Salzman assured me of that any student, because before, as Mr. Sunshine said, before we used to allow students from other districts, students that had graduated, some parents, some people who just wanted to go, and it just starts to get a little wonky. And so, and yes, wonky's a word. It's a big Scrabble word. So we asked Mr. Salzman and the rest of the chaperones to narrow it down. So, and not only that, we did not want younger children going, because at one point it was even open to sixth graders. And to send your sixth grader to Europe without you is insane in my opinion. So Mr. Salzman assured me that as people started registering, if there were students with bad behavior, known bad behavior, they would be told they were not able to go.
Okay.
And there is a behavior agreement, that if they act up while they're over there and get in trouble, they will be sent home on their parents' dime.
Yeah.
And that's happened before. Not from there, but from other places. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, now you may talk about the Germany trip.
And this is a separate entity altogether. So this, the German exchange is coming up. And I don't know your level of participation in this. This involves the Sister Cities Club. So the Sister Cities organization I'm a member of, and we participate with them, and they help us kind of put this in action. So we are currently looking for about 14 students, and we're in the process of getting 14 hosts, lead hosts. And we're working on that right now. And then our students will be departing for Germany. What is that date, October? Is that what I said, October?
No, in May.
It says May of 2024.
Yeah.
The German students come in October.
Yeah, and the Germans will come here. They're very anxious to get here. And we are excited about having them. We've always had fine support from the district. We look forward to continuing our fine relationship with the Sister Cities Club and their German exchange teachers, who I've kept in touch with for the last several years.
And it says the German students will be in Fountain Hills October 20th to November 6th. Is that also of 2024? So nothing in 2023?
They
Okay.
come,
That's coming up.
I thought they come here before we go there, so it'll be 2023.
So they are coming here 2023, and then our students will go there in 2024?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Are there questions regarding the Sister Cities German student exchange?
So our students will be staying with host families, is that correct? How are the host families determined and vetted? And is there any district adult with them there, or is it?
Well, the Germans are pretty thorough. So they go through kind of a vetting process and an application format. They have thousands of applicants to do what 14 students get picked to do. It's based on their grades, their participation, probably a little bit of nepotism, I don't know. But they're fantastic at making sure they provide the best services and quality of experience. How they do the vetting, particularly, I'm not exactly sure. But overall, it's been quite monitored on everything from the mayor down to the school teachers. It's really quite recognized. That kind of.
And it's all done through the Sister Cities program?
Correct.
Not just random, it's not like a random group that just decides this, it's Sister Cities.
It's a partnership between us and Sister Cities, so.
And they have a Sister Cities program there too, but they also have an overarching group called CAP. And that's like a German, I forget the acronym, all the stands for, but it's their oversight committee for their Sister Cities organization.
Okay, thank you.
And do they also sign papers saying, talking about behavior, to know what the behavior is here? Only because I know from some countries out there, they're allowed to drink when they're younger. So I know when we've ever had that, that's one thing we wanted to make sure that it didn't happen, because it's not allowed here.
Well, I know through the EF2 version, I haven't been with the Sister City one. I do know that we make it that no matter what the age limit is out there, you're still one of our students here. You follow the rules that we have here, you're still underage. So
If you'd like, we can always have Sister Cities come and present as well, if that would help. There's a long-standing relationship going back decades.
Right.
Yeah, so we can align that for them to come, like Kiwanis did, and present a little bit about it, if that helps.
That would be great. Libby, did you have a question?
I think the only question I had was, the kids that are going, are they also required to host, or is that optional?
That's the tricky part. So we require the students to host if they're going to go.
Great, great.
But it's not always easy.
I hosted one of their advisors, one of their teachers, when they were here years ago. A great experience.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions regarding the German exchange student? Hearing none, it'll be on our agenda at our next board, at the next business meeting for an action item. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, future action, if there's something you'd like to see on a future agenda, please contact Krista or Dr. J. Dates of upcoming meetings, Wednesday, January 5th, or January 25th, we will have a work study session, but prior to that, we have something else, right?
We do.
So that will actually begin at 3 o'clock, and then our work study session will begin at 5:30. Then we will have our board retreat on Monday, February 6th at 4 o'clock, and then we will have a business meeting on Wednesday, February 8th at 6 p.m. in the Learning Center. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
I'll second. Okay, good meeting. So we make it a best practice that one person always vote to adjourn and somebody else second. So if you're the voter to adjourn, you're the second. I have no problem. That way, we don't just sit here.
Right.
Waiting.
Waiting for